You stupid bitch. Yeah, you're a stupid bitch. You stupid bitch.
Welcome to another episode of Stupid Bitches Say What, the Aussie podcast about everything and nothing, but always with wine. And your hosts, Skylee Collett and Sean Hipkins.
Hey, this week it's What's the Haps, where we cover the current affairs of July 2022. Things like the Ricky Martin scandal, Roe vs. Wade, J-Lo and Ben getting hitched. Is this their first or second time getting hitched?
First, but they almost got married before.
Glad they made it down the altar this time. To the altar,
Me too,
down the
me
aisle.
too.
The Neighbours finale and some reality TV highlights, and of course, all those other fun tidbits that gave us a giggle.
What are you drinking, Sean Beno Hipkins?
Well, Skylee Collett, I am on a seltzer tonight. I can't wait to get back into season 4 and start drinking a nice big bottle of fucking red again. I've missed it. We've got to weigh in tomorrow.
Look, I've probably drunk. I've probably drunk your share whilst you've been on the challenge. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, it's not fair. I want to be pissed again. Proper pissed. But anyway, I'm drinking a Good Tides hard seltzer. Sparkling water and vodka, lemon and lime. It's quite refreshing. Thank you. What pray tell are you drinking this episode?
Okay.
You stupid biatch, Sky.
Don't be swayed by the fact that the bottle's empty, because this is almost half a bottle in here.
It's a healthy glass.
Giant glass. And I also had half a bottle of Prosecco in the last episode. So Skaz is a little bit wasted. And she has to get up at 5 in the morning because I have shit to do. But I'm drinking the Jameson's Run. So this little drop only cost me $6 from the first choice. But I have loved Jameson's Run for years, and it used to be quite expensive. It used to be.
So you're saying Jameson's Rum at first, but Jameson's Run.
Jameson's.
My M's and my N's get a bit tongue-tied sometimes.
But you know how, like, some wineries, like, they make a fancy bottle, but if they have a bad year or if they have a bad batch, they have a cheap, shitty bottle. This must be their cheap, shitty bottle, but it's still lovely. So it's a Cab Sav 2021. But it only cost me $6, and it's not even on fucking special. And when I saw it, I was like, I love Jameson's Rum. Why is it only $6?
I'm getting 2.
This is actually my 4th bottle.
Oh, nice. Have you got
tonight? But that I brought since I saw it for $6.
You don't aerate your reds, do you?
No, I'm not posh like you.
Well, not yet. We'll get you there.
Look, you've converted me in so many different things. You've even converted my husband in so many. We're so excited for Eurovision next year, and it's not that far away. Like, it'll happen soon.
Australia Decides will be upon us soon.
Yeah, after Christmas. We'll have to buy our tickets before Christmas.
I think we might even start learning about some of the acts before Christmas too.
So how's your week been, you stupid bitch?
Look, it's been pretty good. By the time this airs, I would have completed the challenge, and I'm very excited because what we've been doing throughout the challenge, I may have said this already, is if we see something on special or a new food item, a new form of chocolate or biscuit or chip, I buy it and then I take it to work and it sits in a drawer in my work, in this bottom drawer, because I'm actually pretty good at work. I can avoid temptation, and including when Aldi had their English week, which they fucking launched a week into the challenge, and you can get their Worcestershire flavoured chips.
I didn't know Aldi had English week. Do they have Quavers and Monster Munch?
No, they don't branch out that much into them. They have like Smith's Worcestershire sauce flavoured chips.
I love the Worcestershire sauce chips.
So good.
I love them.
So we've got a couple of packets of those. We've got some penguin bars, pick a penguin, those types of things. And yeah, heaps of little blocks of chocolate that have been on special. The new Chiquito chocolate that came out, bar of chocolate that.
So how big is your box?
Look, it's definitely a hefty show bag of treats. And I cannot wait, because in a week today, I'll be able to bring that home. And then
do you know it's easier to put the weight on than it is to take it off. So you could literally put that weight back on in like half the time, even less than it took you to take it off.
I know. Look, it's going to be a binge. So
and don't you want to lose it all for England? England's still like, I mean, an island.
Yes. So we've still got 6 months, or well, 5 months, but we're going to continue. We're just having a week. We're not going to put it all back on in a week, but we're just going to have a week of like being a bit naughty, but yeah, we're just going to totally binge on the Sunday after. So the Saturday night, we have our weigh-in the Saturday morning, final weigh-in. Then Saturday night, Vinny and I are going to the pub. I'm drinking beer for the first time in fucking forever. And we're playing the pokies. And then we're going to come home, eat some shit, wake up the next day and just veg and eat crap. And I can't wait. So another thing I'm excited about is the new season. This will be on during our break. The new season of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under. So season 2, where they do the Australian version, that starts at the end of the month, and I'm very excited about that.
Because you talked last episode about the other one coming to an end, almost.
Yes. So that's RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars season 7, which is an American production, but it's all winners this season.
I've already got red lips. I've only had a couple of sips of wine.
Oh, I'm jealous. So how's your week been, Sky?
Look, it's been fabulous, actually. We've got Tyler's birthday tomorrow. So having a bit of a party.
Nice.
It would be lovely if some of his friends from Foster and that, they were all going to try to come up, but it's not like a milestone birthday, but it would have been great if they were coming up, but they're not. But it's still going to be a fun night. We're going to do what we did at the hens night and just put everything in the garage again.
Okay,
but
cool.
I got him for his birthday because it was his birthday on Thursday.
And the weather's a bit shit at the moment too, so you just don't know what's going to happen.
This weather, mate, is just insane. It's just constant. It's like it's never-ending rain. But for his birthday, I got him a Jack Daniel's pool cue. So we have.
Oh, cool! Yeah.
Yeah. So he's very, very stoked. I also got him tickets to Seth Century, which is like a. Do you know Seth Century?
No.
He's like a Hilltop Hoods type.
Okay. So Seth, SETH. I thought you were saying Sex Century.
No,
interesting.
I saw your face go.
I thought, is this an adult shop?
So I got him and Aaron tickets because that's not my kind of jam.
Yeah, and you can't send someone alone.
No, well, him and Aaron have the exact same taste in music. Like they love all the same shit. Because they went and saw not Hilltop Hoods. What's the other one that they love?
Yes, another one you mean.
Tyler's going to kill me for forgetting the one where they got COVID. They got COVID from it.
Does it start with
They
B?
went in January. No, I think it's B. Listen, Bliss and Esso. It is Bliss and Esso. Yeah, so they saw them in January and they had the insanest night ever. Like literally, I think that's when they were already really quite close, but I think that was when their bond really, truly became
Formed.
like
That's like nice.
Besties, brother-in-laws.
Nice, that's awesome. It's good that they get on.
But they also got COVID and gave it to us all.
That is not so nice.
That's how we got COVID. So yes, I got him Seth Century tickets, so I was very, very happy about that, and a really expensive bottle of whiskey. But yeah. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Even though we're going to be on the dry, we are looking forward to going down and catching up with this all and celebrating. And as we said, we'll make it up when we have our workshop for season 4 a couple of weeks afterwards. And Vinny has promised to do a double snorkel.
Yes, he has. No take backs. I know. I had mentioned it to Tyler that you had mentioned to me that you wouldn't be drinking because of the challenge, and I think he had purposely forgot because when I reminded him, he was like, "No, that's not happening. They are drinking." And I was like, "Honey, child." So something really important to talk about is Link got his learners.
Congratulations, Linky. As you
My child can drive. So in the space of like 4 weeks, he got his job at Hungry Jack's. and he got his learners, and we're just so proud of him because he's just
nice.
kicking goal after goal at the moment. He's doing really well in school, and
has he clocked up any hours really well in the car?
No, well, because so he could have got his learners in March when he turned 16, and what are we now, nearly in August, so he's only just got them. Fair enough, like it took me 2 weeks because I had to pay a couple of $100 to get his learners, and I was waiting for my pay to come through. But maybe he had it for 2 weeks, I think, before I brought it for him.
Yeah.
But it took him all that time to actually sit down and properly do the test. But you do it online now. So they all give them each other the answers, all his mates. Like he was messaging his mates like, what'd you say for this fucking question? What'd you say for this question?
So it's basically an open book exam.
Basically. Well, to be fair, I haven't actually done it. I think it maybe has a time limit on each question as well. Like that you can redo it every day. So if you fail one day, or maybe it's every 48 hours or something.
Right.
So if you fail it, you can do it at like 2 days later or something like that.
Get back Oh, good. Well done.
If you remember, getting your learners is quite hard. Like I failed my learner. I got my license on the first go, but I failed my learners like 3 times.
I think you had to, there was like a set of, there was 30 questions in total, 20 on theory and then 10 on give way. And you could pass one on the 10 and 2 out of the 20. Yeah. It was quite difficult.
You've got a good memory. I don't remember that at all.
And you had to sit in the Department of Transport and do it at a booth. Yeah. Yeah. My nephew, Brady, got his learners as well. He had his birthday on the 14th of July and he went out that day and got the learners straight away. He's been saving up for a car and shit, so he's very keen to get on the road.
But see, I got my learners when I was 17 or maybe a little bit older, only because I needed the ID for everything.
Yes, and I think around our time you had to be 16 and a half to get it.
You did. I think you did too. And then I didn't get my license until I was 19 because everyone drove me everywhere.
Yeah, me. So I didn't get my license until I was 24.
Yeah, and so I went and got my license and then pretty much just had a couple of driving lessons. My parents drove me once or twice, but we just fought like crazy people. Yeah. So I just got a couple of lessons learning my auto because I had to get my license for work because I was catching the train every day and my dad wouldn't let me catch the train home from Veranda because I was working nights until 10. So I had to stay at my auntie's who lived around the corner. And that was killing me. So I was like, because he was like, no, I'm not letting you sit on the train from Veranda.
Oh, bless him for being, that's nice.
Night. And that was a long time ago. Remember what Veranda used to be like?
And they didn't have conductors walking the trains or security. Yeah.
So I got it out of pure desperation and I got it on the first go, even though I went through a stoplight and had to brake and nearly crashed into a car.
I got mine on my first go too. And I went up to a stop line, but I went over it to the giveaway line. And when she got out, she goes, stop at the stop line.
I was terrified driving. And I remember Louise, because I had to drive to the city. I had to drive to Veranda every day and home. And Louisa said to me, whatever you do, don't sit in the left-hand lane because the buses will pull out on you all the time. You're better off sitting in the right-hand lane because of peak hour traffic and stuff, so the buses don't come on you. So I listened to her. But if you're sitting in the right-hand lane, that's the fast lane. I was going slow because I was like so anxious that everyone was banking up behind me and like beating me and shit. So I was like, ah!
Just screaming and driving.
First started driving and you couldn't like have the radio on and stuff and you couldn't have people talking to you.
Yeah, because you had to concentrate.
Concentrating. That's what I was like.
Listen, now look at you. You lounge back in there with fucking drink in the drink holder.
And you drive with one hand, man, all the way.
I know, I've driven with you. It's an experience. Cash as.
But he said to me last night, so I said to him last weekend, do you want to go driving? I'll take you driving if you want to go driving. But he was too busy. He had too many things to do and he wanted to sleep in all day on Saturday and sleep the whole day away. And I said, I can't go Saturday afternoon. We've got stuff to do. We'll go Saturday morning. So he said to me this afternoon, he's like, can you take me driving tomorrow? I said, yes, but we're getting up early because we're going to go to Chandler and drive in the car park because he's not able to just go on the road yet.
Of course.
He needs to get
a bit used to it. And then you can do parking practice and all that there too.
Yeah. So we'll go in the morning.
Oh, that'll be interesting. I look forward to hearing about it.
I'm terrified.
Because Vinny didn't get his license because again, when in Clonmel, that people walk everywhere, and he just didn't get over here because I drive everywhere.
It's
and
not a big deal getting a license over there, is it? It's
Yeah.
like you get it from necessity, maybe one day.
Yeah. And when he did have his learners and I was taking him for driving lessons, the fights that would just come out of it.
I remember
Yeah.
how stressed he used to get driving too. Like how he used to have to be in the zone, like, you know, and there was no drinking or nothing going on around him. Like he was like, no, I'm just driving and I'm just focused on driving. And
no, he's got it now, bless him.
And it's pretty crazy driving over here compared to if you drove in Ireland or in England.
Yeah.
You know, they all live in the same area and they drive a couple of streets to each other's house and stuff
like that. The traffic's nowhere near as bad, and pulling out across
getting on the
lanes.
highway, you're going to Garden City, or, you know, you're driving to the city.
Down the Tweed, yeah.
That's crazy.
It's very good now. All right, so should we get into the weeks of What's the Haps?
Yeah, you go first. You tell something that you want to talk about.
Well, let's start with our season finale. We're 35 eps in now, and it's three seasons down with over 2,000 plays. I can't believe it.
Wow. And we used to joke about it, didn't we? How we keep doing it forever, and people would say to us in 10 years, "Are you guys still doing that podcast?" And we're like, "Uh-huh."
Yeah, we're at now 5,000 plays. So, but coming back, so we'll be coming back into season 4 in the beginning of September. And then after a few weeks, we'll be celebrating our first birthday. But we do have we do have some fun updates that'll be for season 4. So with our true crime, as you may know, we've been pretty dedicated to just covering Australian true crime. So for season 4, we're going to go international. And each week we'll cover a different country. And then we may come back to Australia after that. And also in season 4, we'll be introducing to one of our pop culture episodes, Stupid Bitches Say What Book Club, where we'll review a few books. So we've already got the books that we're going to be reviewing. So Boy Swallows Universe, which we saw this week, is going to be coming on Netflix.
Yes,
that's a TV special.
Hopefully you finished it. I've only just started reading it and I haven't had time to properly read it.
Yes, it's going to be great. And it's all filmed in Brisbane too. And also the second book, which has arrived now, and I'll give you a copy tomorrow, Where the Crawdads Sing. So we'll be reviewing those 2 books. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that too. We'll be reviewing those 2 books together. And then we might be able to throw in a quick review of a book that we've read solo-y or something, just a 5-minute update.
So I have heard about the Crawdads, though. The movie doesn't compare. And look, quite often that's the case. I have read a book and seen a movie sometimes that has been amazing. But 99% of the time when I've read a book and seen the series or the
books are always better. That doesn't mean the movie's shit. It just means the book has just all that information that you don't get to translate into movies.
I'll tell you what, The Undoing was one of those ones where I read the book, quite enjoyed it, then watched the TV series straight after and only read the book because I knew it was a TV series starring Nicole Kidman, which we did in our pilot episode.
That's right.
And that was an amazing TV show compared to the book. I rated the show way more, but that's probably one of the first times I could ever really honestly
That is a rarity, yeah.
But so it would be interesting. The Crawdads is getting really bad reviews, the movie.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, because I think it's a good movie if you haven't read the book.
Yeah.
It doesn't compare is what I've heard.
It's like Harry Potter. Like the movies are great. And the first one's pretty much the exact same as the book. But like with movie 3, it's still a good movie, but the book has just had so much more information. So you get a bit disappointed when you see the movie. But getting into our news items, so the Ricky Martin scandal / saga. I know. Like I have to say, when it first came out, I saw that, he was accused of what the article I saw was that Ricky Martin could face 50 years in prison. I was like, what the fuck? And I read it. Yep. And it was he was accused of incest by having a relationship with his 21-year-old nephew. And the claims were that once the nephew called it off, Ricky couldn't deal with it and started harassing and stalking the nephew. But in the last couple of days, those allegations have been withdrawn by the nephew.
Yes. And so Tyler has been following it. I haven't read anything. All I know is what Tyler has told me, because he must have seen the same article that you saw. I was like, oh my God, Sky, do you know what's happening with Ricky Martin?
Yeah.
And told me, and I was like, shit, fuck. Because all I remember, the last thing I knew about Ricky Martin is that he was bringing up his twin children
His partner.
on his own as a single. Well, I thought he was a single dad. I thought he got them by surrogate.
Actually,
and wasn't
yes.
with the partner.
He's got a boyfriend now, or a husband, but yeah, he did actually, when he first had the kids, he was solo.
He's doing it on his own. Yes, that's the last bit of news that I heard about Ricky Martin. But Tyler's been quite invested in the story since.
Yeah, well, it was quite
and he gives me updates. And he said to me today, when he read the thing about the nephew retracting everything, payoff, massive payoff.
Well,
obviously.
I think there's two plausible things that have happened there, but I'll get to that afterwards. But yeah, he could face 50 years imprisonment if he was found guilty for it under Puerto Rican law, which I thought was interesting. So wouldn't the nephew also be up for potential jail time if he was involved in this incestuous relationship too?
Well, how old is the nephew though? Is he not classed as underage?
Well, he's 21.
Is he under 21? Oh, he is 21 now. But if it was going on
under, maybe the relationship was when it was 19 or 20 as the alleged relationship. But when it first came out, it was Ricky's brother who was the one who put the charges out there. So yeah, you can imagine there would have been, you could imagine the sibling rivalry. There'd be a lot of, I guess, not jealousy, but potential jealousy of Ricky making this huge name for himself and this lifestyle, maybe
living a flamboyant lifestyle, has a lot of money at his disposal.
Yeah. And I also thought when it came out, I thought, oh, fuck, this is going to be a breeding ground for hatred against gay guys as well.
Yes.
Like, look at what this happens, even though there's plenty of uncles out there that are having affairs with their nieces, or
that aren't celebrities.
With, yeah. So I just thought, oh God, this could be terrible. But the problem with stories like this, as you've said with Tyler as well, is that anything like involving abuse and whatnot, if the accused is actually innocent, they're automatically going to be seen as guilty straight away, like death at the beginning.
Anything. It's like anything. And look, I do try at times to refrain, especially in those situations where there's like he said, she said. I'm like, you have your opinions, but you try not to really make an opinion. Like that whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard thing, it was so messed up. But I was like, oh, they're both equally horrid.
Yeah.
Like at least we got to see how horrible both of them were. So you could pick a side, absolutely, and heaps of people are on Johnny Depp's side. But ultimately,
he's just a horrible situation. Yeah, there was a lot of shit from him as well in there. Of course, it was.
Without he wasn't an
easy person, or he wasn't completely innocent at all. But yeah, no, as you were saying, the thing that I figure that potentially the outcome is, one, the nephew wasn't lying and a major under the table payout has been made, or two, the nephew is the one who is obsessed with his uncle, not the other way around. And
when he realized he might be also facing some level of jail time or
freaked out,
some backlash from it, he's gone, fuck, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
But
maybe
if the dad had caught them as well, maybe that's what forced it to light, and he felt like he had to lie to his dad and be like, oh, it wasn't me, it was Ricky who did it.
We called it off,
the innocent one, and dad, like, don't get mad at me, and who knows.
Yeah. And I mean, like, if you're a gay guy and your uncle was Ricky Martin, I can understand you having sort of some unsanitary thoughts, knowing that he was of your persuasion.
These days, though? And that's the other thing I was thinking, is he really that wealthy anymore? Because what's he done recently?
I'd say the royalties would keep him fucking going. And I think he may have been on a Voice somewhere along the tracks as well as a judge and stuff. I'm sure there's money.
Yeah, he'd do lots of local stuff too. Like he'd be a local celebrity in, where is it, Portugal?
Puerto Rico.
Oh, Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So he'd be a massive celebrity there in his own right. He'd be on TV.
There'd be a lot of money.
Appearances and stuff like that.
And just, even the royalties alone from his songs, it'd still be played and stuff. But yeah, it's crazy. It was just such a scandal when I first saw it. I was like, you're kidding.
Crazy.
What have you got for us?
Okay, so I'm going to jump onto something that very closely relates our last podcast episode. which is all the shit that's happening with Splendor. So this has
Oh,
just come
yes.
out really today
Yep.
because they've been completely reined in.
So for our international listeners, Splendor in the Grass is also a 3-day. Is it 3-day or 2-day? 2-day
3
music.
day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yes,
Yeah,
3-day
festival.
music festival with camping and all that stuff. There's a bit more food and water provided, and booze.
Stuff. But it's also set in Byron Bay, which is a place that doesn't have a lot of accessible points. So really there's one road in. Yeah. So if you're getting to Byron Bay, pretty much any time that you're going when the sun's shining and it's beautiful weather, you're lining up for hours to get into. There's like one little camping ground, and they strongly recommend when you book your tickets for the festival that you don't stay in the campground, that they've only got a certain amount of places for people to camp, and they can only accommodate so many. So they strongly suggest that you stay in Airbnbs or find ways to commute, or
and there's not even enough
drivers
accommodation really to house everyone who attends.
No, so a lot of the time people end up getting buses hired and all that sort of stuff. So with the rain and how obsessive it's being at the moment with one road in, it's just completely a shit fight. And the rain is so torrential at the moment for us where everything's just full of mud. So it's a nightmare scenario, because I've seen heaps of things on Facebook today about people saying, what about Glastonbury? Glastonbury's only mud. Like, you know, every year it's like just Ugg boots, gum boots, and you know, you can't just go to Glastonbury and expect that it's going to be amazing weather, because it never is, and you just get ready for the mud. And
it's like fucking a day on the green at Ciramate. There's always rain when those concerts are on.
But basically people were lining up for 9 hours to get into the campground, and then they were getting close to the campground and being turned away. So today, the Friday session obviously got cancelled. So people were trying to get in there last night, and they couldn't get in there. They got turned away. And then all the photos on Facebook at the moment, and anything that you see, there's TikToks, as whatever going around, as people just literally, you know, waking up in the morning this morning, and the tents were floating away, and they were covered in mud, and they've been up since like 4 a.m. just like,
what a horrible experience.
Trenches of water. And so they've paid all this money. So Splendor's quite expensive. If you're looking at least $1,000 with accommodation
for camping and tickets,
not including your booze and whatever else you're doing.
And you can't take your booze into the campgrounds.
Yes, you can't take your booze into your campground. So people come up with like really like creative ways to try to get it in. But the campgrounds are actually dry. So they try to do that to deter people from staying there, to reduce the numbers, so that you stay in other accommodation, and then people tend to have more designated drivers or hire cabs or whatever, buses and whatever the case may be. But they had to cancel today's artists because it was too dangerous conditions and people couldn't get in. So all the artists that got cancelled today, so basically you paid for 3 days and today's gone. Today is gone. No one was performing. So I put down a list of everyone that was at Splendor. So for Friday, so today, I only picked the ones that I knew, because, and this is the thing, like when we used to go to festivals years ago, we'd know so many of the bands. We're getting so old, like we're so out of touch with, you know, the Triple J scene and all the cool ones.
Agreed.
So today, if you were going, the ones that you would have missed out on was Gorillaz, who I love. Yeah, I would have been sad if I missed out on them. The Yeah Yeah Yeahs, who I also like, but they're not my favorite. The DMAs, I don't mind. And Casey Musgraves. I'm not sure if I like her, but I feel like I know her, but I don't really know what she does.
Yeah, so, and that's the thing with a lot of the acts too. Like you're like, I've got no idea. Then you hear the song and go, oh, them.
Yeah, but so today's lineup for me, if I was going, I would have been like Gorillaz, which I think were the first one to play. I would have been like, fuck, I'm missing Gorillaz. I paid all this money, I'm missing Gorillaz, but the rest I would have been like, meh. But tomorrow, so the big ones that, again, only ones that I know, the Strokes, cool. The Glass Animals. Do you like the Glass Animals?
I've never heard of them.
I fucking love them. So they're a UK band, I'm pretty sure, or definitely UK, Ireland, somewhere around there. The Jungle Giants are from Brisbane. I'm obsessed with the Jungle Giants. I've loved them for years, but at the moment, they're my favorite song. One of my favorite songs right now is Heartless by the Jungle Giants. So if I was paying all this money and there's a chance that tomorrow's going to be cancelled because they're not even sure what's going to happen,
they're going to hope for sunshine.
We're getting severe weather warnings at the moment.
Oh, God.
I would be gutted. So I don't think they'll get their money back because the concert started. So like if they cancel the concert, you get your money back, right? Or you get to rebook it if they're going to rebook it. Because remember last year it got cancelled because of COVID.
Yeah. So people weren't there. Yeah.
And they got their money back. But now once you're there, that's it.
Yeah.
It's set up to go. So you don't get any money back. So Sunday is Grinspoon, who I've seen like 1,000 times. I love Grinners,
yeah. That would have been good nostalgia.
Do love them, but Julia Stone, fucking cannot stand Julia Stone.
I still loved their first album.
Ugh, hated it. Jet Plane or whatever it was.
I want to take you for a ride on a jet plane. It's very somber.
Can't stand them. And then the only other one that I knew was Alex the Astronaut, who I love. Her songs are very strange, but one song that's been on my playlist for at least 3 years is her song Happy Song, which I love. So I would have loved to have seen it. But other than that, the rest of them...
hopefully the song comes out for them and they get some experience there. My old manager, Lisa, she's down there with her partner now and their son, his son and her daughter. And I've seen photos on there. She's like Splendor in the Mud, but they're making the best out of the worst situation. They're having a laugh. They're getting their food still and just walking around and enjoying themselves. And I'm like, good for you. That's a great attitude to have.
Well, it's like anything. Like I remember we went to Sounds of Spring. That was it wasn't the Echo. I can't even remember where it was. And it got rained out. And it was insane. Like we were just covered in mud. From like our thighs down were just black by the end of it. It was so crazy.
When you're younger, you can be resilient with that shit.
Yeah, totally. But she's like, your manager's not a young person, so good on her. She's enjoying herself.
Yeah.
Because Tyler said to me, he was like, that is like my absolute nightmare. I was like, you know what? When you're there, you actually get into it. You just
have fun because everyone's in the same boat. Yeah.
Exactly. But most of the stuff that I've seen on Facebook from people that I know that are our age are like, Splendor, fuck that.
Yeah.
Splendor, no way. But that's Woodstock, reincarnate.
Yeah. And we did Rockwerder in Belgium when I was in London. And the same thing, it was camping. You had to walk miles from a campsite to the festival. It rained some of the days. We were just wrestling in the mud. We had a thing. The music didn't get cancelled though.
No, well, I did V2000 when I was in the UK. Coldplay just had Yellow out.
Nice.
It was like Macy Gray was there having sex with herself on stage. So many great artists. It was such an amazing event, but we had to walk miles. And I was telling Tyler, because he was like, oh my God, like, you know, the toilet situation and like all that sort of stuff. And I was like, yeah, you didn't even, we talked about this in the Woodstock episode. You don't even go to the toilets in the end. You just like, nah, you shit in the woods. You have to, because the toilets are just disgusting.
Yeah, it's cleaner going to the woods.
You go.
All right. So another big thing that happened, it's not a nice thing, this month was the overturning of the Roe versus Wade by the American Supreme Court. And I know that's not our country or anything, but it's still a big thing that's happened. That's caused quite an impact around the world, I think. And
there was big protests in Australia still. Like people still went out and protested it in Australia on behalf of the states, because it was like,
it's terrible.
You know, if the states are going to do it, what's going to happen to Australia's freedoms?
Exactly. Well, thank God Scott Morrison's fucking out now. So the Roe versus Wade thing was in 1973, and it was a lawsuit that went to the Supreme Court making a ruling on abortion rights. So I never knew. I was always thinking when I heard, I'm like, who the fuck's Roe and who's Wade? So Jane Roe was an unmarried pregnant woman who filed a suit on behalf of herself and others to challenge Texas abortion laws that went to the Supreme Court. And the ruling was the Supreme Court decided on two important things: that the US Constitution provides a fundamental right to privacy that protects a person's rights to choose whether to have an abortion, but the abortion right was not absolute. So it must be balanced against the government's interests in protecting health and prenatal life. So I'm guessing that's just abortion on demand. You can't go in at 8 months and say I want an abortion.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And Henry Wade was the American lawyer and Dallas County District Attorney. So that's where the Roe versus Wade part comes into it and goes up. So it went through and it was all great, but now the Supreme Court have overturned it. And some of the damaging thing that's going to come out of this, or the aftermath, is the backyard jobs of abortions will be back on the rise. The deaths and injuries to women that was at such a high spike previous to the Roe versus Wade, which has now dropped majorly because people are going into health services to have the procedure performed. Did you ever see the movie If These Walls Could Talk, telly movie?
No, but I know of it. There was heaps of stars in it. I know the movie that you're talking about.
The original one had Demi Moore. Then
it's like 4 women's stories. It's 4 women, and you see each woman's story, and they all coincide in the end.
Well, they all lived in the same house. So, and it was through 3 different generations. So I think it was 3 women. So the first one was Demi Moore. The second story was Sissy Spacek, Sissy Spacek, and the third one was Cher. And so the first one, the lady is Demi Moore. She's in the house, and she's pregnant, and she goes to have an abortion, blah blah blah. But it's not legal at the time. It's in the 60s, I think. And she ends up on some dude's operating table in his basement with a coat hanger, and I think she dies from it in the end. And then the second one is when the women's movement was coming in, so it's in the late 70s, and that's Sissy Spacek, and she's an elderly mother, but she's a mother probably, I think, in her 40s. She falls pregnant, and then it's a conflicts of whether she goes ahead and has the abortion or not, but it just proves that it's her choice on what she wants to do. And what she ends up doing is having the child, even though her husband didn't want her to, and the kids were the grown-up kids were sort of going against it. And then Cher, I'm pretty sure it's Cher, was the last one. I think she has the abortion, but it shows her walking to the clinics. It's in the 90s, and all the anti-protests and all that stuff, the anti-abortion protesters hounding her as she walks in. It's quite a good telly movie, and there's a sequel too, but it's more about lesbianism.
I was going to say there's another version of it I know of. As well.
Where Sharon Stone and Ellen, I think, are in it. And it's more about lesbianism, and it's the same thing in different eras, how it's accepted and what's moved on. And the other backlash that's going to come for it is there's now a real and valid fears about what the Supreme Court are going to do next. And the things that they've said are on their cards is overturning same-sex marriage, interracial marriage. Can you believe it? This stuff, it's truly scary what's going to come from this.
Yeah, it's very scary time.
So it's just so backward. I just don't get it.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't it still up to the state in the US to decide if they're going to allow it? So some states are still unshaking in their opinion that, abortion is okay, or it's decriminalized or whatever the case may be. But there's certain states who've just no deal. It's out
now. And that's the problem, and that's the thing. So that, you're right that there are states, and they're saying anyone's welcome here to come here. But then again, if the state changes its government or its law, will that change then?
It's totally Handmaid's Tale shit.
100%. And, and that's the scariest thing. Is it going to be the start of something like that, of a civil war? Then there's going to be states where there's people who can't afford to fucking travel to other states and end up going into those fucking backyard jobs again. So the death rate is going to fucking rise from these dodge jobs of abortions. And it's funny, you see some of them too, why don't you just make it, vasectomies are reversible, so just give every man a vasectomy until he's ready and financially able to have a child and committed, and then reverse the procedure. That's pretty
much the exact same thing, right? Isn't it? It's almost like, and they'll be like, oh no, that's doing something to their body.
Yeah, but my body, my choice. Yeah.
Isn't it the same thing?
Exactly.
It is very, very scary. I feel incredibly fortunate that we live in Australia, that,
we're not going through that at this stage.
the right to choose, but I can't imagine all those women living in those states in the US who might be in that situation or potentially could be in that situation. And, you know, it's a horrible situation to be in anyway, having to have an abortion for most people.
Yeah, it's not something that they want to do most of the time.
It's not something that you're just like, it's not something that people don't go through trauma over anyway or carry with them for the rest of their life. You'll never forget that. You'll move on, but you'll always carry it with you. But then also to have the added, you know, everything on top of it, like not being able to have access to that is just
terrible.
It's horrible. Sad. It's insane. Sad. It's very sad. It's very Handmaid's Tale shit.
Yeah. All right. Did you have another one?
Okay. So my other one was J-Lo and Ben Affleck got married.
That's right.
Yeah. So look, I have always been a bit of a Ben Affleck fan.
Right.
I didn't really understand the whole him and Jennifer Garner thing when they got together, but they had 3 children, so they must have been happy for a while. And then he went to rehab, remember, for alcohol abuse, and I think he was fucking the nanny or...
Oh, really? Scandalous.
Cheating. It was very scandalous. And now he's with J-Lo. But so when they were first together years and years ago, they cancelled their wedding the day before they were getting married. Like, who does that?
Yeah, people who know that this isn't going to work.
But why wait until the day before? Like, surely you must be like, fuck. Like, they just like woke up and like, fuck, let's not get married tomorrow.
Probably had a massive fight.
But there's heaps of quotes out there, especially from J-Lo, that are really quite romantic and quite loving towards him, you know, saying that they've always had this love. They just were in different places. It was a time.
Found the right one at the wrong time.
Yeah, totally. Great song. But they seem really happy. Like, I just think, you know,
it's nice that they've come back together. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, they have copped, there's obviously their fans who would just be supportive no matter what, but they've copped a lot of ridicule, I think, because of it.
Yeah.
Especially because she's such a show pony. But granted, she's stunning. Beautiful woman. She's got a hot body for her age and she's very talented. So and she's worth gazillions of dollars. So in her own right.
Yeah,
you know, she's a show pony, but it works for her.
Exactly. Jealous is a curse.
And they definitely look good on each other's arms. Like
yeah. I know
they're
it's
a
kind
handsome
of like
couple.
It's kind of like Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt. Like, I'd really like to see them back together, even though I've got no idea what their relationship's like or how they feel. It's like one of those couples.
Gonna happen.
But it's one of those couples you think, oh, that'd be good if they got back.
Yeah. See, I always liked Brad Pitt and Gwyneth Paltrow together, but I'm not a really big fan of Gwyneth Paltrow in recent years because you know, she's all about the vegan lifestyle.
Yeah, and her vagina-scented candles.
And putting like placebos on her face and shit like that.
Placentas.
Placentas, is that what it is?
Yeah, which is probably a placebo, to be fair. She's probably not really doing it. She's just getting some fucking...
Yeah, it's like crazy. And urine and shit like that, like lamb's urine and crazy shit like that. So I always thought they were a good couple, but, you know, my view is go J-Lo, go Ben.
Do you. You do you, Barry. If you're happy.
I'm happy for you guys. I hope you are together forever. I hope you found your person each.
Yeah, agreed. Congrats. All right, well, I'll go into just a quick spin on some reality TV. You know I love my reality TV. So Big Brother Australia recently wrapped up. They had their 21st or 20th anniversary special. And the latest special did you watch any of it? No, she's saying no, people. She's shaking her head with a disgusted look on her face.
So I did, what was the Big Brother that you got into and I watched one episode and it had, what's his name's missus in it. And she was like she's like, I've had 3 tequila shots and I'm still fucking not ready for this. The one who went out with Kyle Sandilands. What was that Big Brother?
That was a celebrity Big Brother.
Yeah.
And it had Caitlyn Jenner in that.
Yes, I couldn't do it in the end. I was like, this is too much.
Yeah, that was a bit naff, that one. But so this version saw former housemates returning to the show. competing against a set of new housemates. But the new format of the show is completely different to the Big Brother that we knew when it first aired, where it was just people living together. They had to do some shit, and then the public voted who they wanted out or who they wanted to save, and then they voted for a winner in the end. So the new format is much more strategic, where you can't rely on the audience to keep you in now. You have to make alliances, win challenges, etc., and vote people out.
So like Survivor.
Sort of. It was really great. The format's a bit different in how you survive and who, because you don't just get to vote out anyone. It's people still get nominated and voted on and whatnot. It was actually, I really enjoyed it. I loved it. And it was Devo when it ended. But what I wanted to sort of talk about is that we made some history with our winner from this season. So did you watch any of the earlier seasons? Like back in the 2000s?
I watched probably the first maybe 3 to 5 seasons, like the Sarah Marie, the original season, a couple, yeah.
Okay, so do you remember Reggie, who won season 3? So she was one of the returning housemates, and she made it to the top 3. She's actually
What's
going
she like
blind.
now? Is she
she's still the same, but she's going blind, so she wasn't really. She's only got like 9% of full vision left. Yeah, so she made it to the final 3, and she ended up winning this season as well. And so the special thing about that is she won season 3 back in 2003, and she's the first, obviously, Australian to win Big Brother twice. But when they were talking about it in the house, I was saying like Tim. I don't know if you remember Tim, the crazy haired guy. It's kind of reminds me of Jamie somewhat. So he came out after his season, and he's like,
"I want to." Red-haired guy, the guy with
long
the really
curly
long red hair.
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking of the guy. Remember the guy with the red hair, long red hair.
Oh, like a mullet, sort of.
Super long, and then he was like into music and stuff like that. And one of the challenges was like he could stop his whole, like they were broken into teams or something like that, and he could stop his whole team from getting evicted if he shaved his head. And he refused to do it because he was like, "You don't understand. Girls have never liked me until I had long hair, and I just can't give that up." Do you remember that?
Yeah, he was one of the very older OG cast. So this Tim guy,
he was named Tim or something.
I can't remember. Yeah, but he was one of the very OG ones. But anyway, so this other Tim was saying like, "I want to be the first person to win Big Brother twice in the world." And so I don't know if Reggie's the first person ever to win Big Brother twice in the world. And they've had all-star seasons in other countries. I was trying to Google it and shit, but all it just kept coming up with was Reggie. So I was pretty impressed with that. The other bit of reality TV news I want to talk about is The Challenge is coming to Australia. I don't know if I've spoken to you about The Challenge before.
Is that the one that you started watching at the same time you started watching Survivor, and then you jumped ship and went to Survivor?
Oh, no, that was Shipwrecked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the Challenge,
put your wrong eggs in the basket.
Yes, but the Challenge has also been around for like 36 seasons or something. It's kind of like a cross between Survivor with the brutal challenges, Big Brother in the sense they all live together, the strategy from both of them, and Geordie Shore is that they get mental blind and they fight and screw each other throughout, but they still have to. And then when it comes down to people getting eliminated, so they have to compete against each other and the loser goes home. It's great.
Is it Aussie?
No, so it's American. And it actually first started from a show. Do you remember the show they used to do in America called The Real World? That have Real World, San Fran, Real World, blah, blah, blah. And it was just a bunch of people living together and showing us what their real world was. So what they did was they got favorites from some of those seasons and put them in this show called The Challenge. And they all competed against each other for the prize money. And now they'd still get reality show contestants in. So it's people from Survivor, Big Brother and stuff like that, that then just compete against some of the veterans who've been around forever in the show. It's been going for over 30 seasons, and Australia's finally getting its own version of it, which I cannot wait to watch.
We're a lot more conservative, though, in lots of ways, especially in this day and age.
They're getting some. So one of the rumoured contestants is a guy that was from The Bachelorette, Sophie Monk's season. Did you watch that?
No, but I think we've had this conversation. You told me something about him.
He's meant to be in the new Survivor Heroes vs Villains as well. So those type of people do go for the drama. So I'm imagining they're getting people who are going to be fully fucking dramatic for it.
Well, in saying that, let's talk about maths, really. If they're going to have people like maths on the challenge,
exactly, that shit is going to get fucking loose. Like, could you imagine, you know, that chick where the guy cleaned the toilet with her toothbrush, her in it, the big bodybuilder with her OnlyFans and that, she'd fucking cut some heads. So yeah, what they're apparently meant to be doing is they're having the Challenge Australia, they've got the Challenge US going at the moment, a Challenge UK, and they're going to get the winners from these or some of the top places, and then do Challenge the World and have the first World Star Challenge competitor winner.
Okay.
Yeah, I cannot wait. Yeah, so that's my reality update.
Okay, so my next thing is the lady who doesn't drink water. And this came to my attention because randomly I get stuff, like everyone would relate to this now, like Facebook is becoming, I wouldn't say obsolete, but it's on its way out, right? Everyone would agree that it's not as popular as it used to be.
Definitely not. It's just great for photo albums and memories.
Yeah, it is. It's great. I love the memories on it. That's my favorite thing. And because you post stuff, but I don't even really post stuff anymore. I certainly don't post photos. I never take photos anymore. I'm so bad at it. Yeah. And I was thinking that the other day, like I'm losing all this opportunity because I never really take photos anymore. And I used to take photos all the time. And then you'll see them on Facebook memories and you'll be like, fuck.
Oh, that was so good.
I forgot about that. That was a great night. That was a great experience. That was a great party, but I never do it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to regret that, I think, later.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll take photos, but then I just don't post them on Facebook or Insta. No. I just don't post them at all.
I pretty much never take photos anymore. I'm like, having my phone on me is just like a hindrance when I'm out enjoying myself. Like it's always in my bag and it's on silent always. But you go through your Facebook feed and you just get all this random shit. You get ads mostly, but then you get this random, you might like this, you might like that. And now it's all about videos. Like everyone's sharing videos and popular videos come up in your stream. It's like TikTok almost, which I also hate and don't understand. But I've been getting all these random videos and I get heaps of crime videos too, which I'm always tagging you in. And now we're part of that 90s fucking thing.
It's just Sean Hipkins. Sky's tagged you in a post.
Tag each other I tag you way more, I know, but we tag each other so many times in it. But so I got this random thing coming up and it's a 60-second video. And I tried to figure out who the company was. And they're actually 60-second videos. That's what they're called. And they just randomly post these 60-second videos. So this thing came up and there's this lady who doesn't drink water. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. I'll click on it. I'll watch it. 60 seconds. That's my kind of video. I don't like long videos at all. Anyway, so there's this woman. She lives in New York and she never drinks water. She hates water so badly and she never drinks it, right? Which is like, I could totally relate. Like I could totally understand, except for the fact
if you were 15.
Yeah, but she's a gym junkie.
Oh,
so
God.
She goes to the gym every single day. She's like, literally, I cannot survive if I don't go to the gym every day. Like I work out, I have a proper workout at least once a day. But I never drink water. So she goes to the gym with a coffee and she's working out, drinking a coffee.
Oh, God.
Like, who can do that?
That's her water supply.
So she will drink alcohol and coffee, but never water. She says water is like a slimy nothing sliding down her throat.
Oh.
She knows she should drink it. She drinks Crystal Light sometimes, which I looked up, and it's like a low-calorie fruit drink. It says no preservatives. Anything in a bottle that's mass-produced has got shit in it. Like, I don't care what anyone says. So it runs in her family. Her parents don't drink water either. She's a massive gym junkie who works out every single day, never misses a workout. She just takes a coffee with her. And there's an image of her working out with a coffee in her hands. She's been to the ER 3 times from dehydration. She constantly gets told off and people get really angry at her when they find out that she doesn't drink water. So she just says, oh, no, I do drink it, and lies, but she never drinks it.
I love water. Like when I was a kid, I remember my gym PE teacher being very surprised. And I think I was 13, 14 that I didn't drink water, and I'd only drink it if it was with cordial or something. But now I love water. I drink about 4 liters of water every day. I always have
crave it during the day. Like I actually
Yeah.
get parched that I have to go and scull a cup of water, and I drink like a liter before I go to bed every night. So I scull a liter, even though I still get up and pee like at 5 a.m, but it also helps me get up in the morning. So that's why I do it. So I get up and do my walk. But I smash a whole liter before I go to bed, and then I have a liter next to my bed that I'll wake up in the middle of the night and drink out of it. Plus I crave it during the day and scull a couple of glasses throughout the day.
I really enjoy it.
There's nothing more thirst quenching than when you're craving a glass of water and you get it and you just scull it. My babies just got here and they won.
Oh, congratulations.
Against the team that they didn't win against last time.
Oh, cool. Well done. So another thing coming up is the Neighbours finale is upon us. So I read some info today. Scott, Charlene, Mike, and Plain Jane, the Super Brain, are all coming back for it, amongst many others. Finale week actually kicks off this Monday. So well after this is aired, well before this is aired, with the finale airing on Thursday, the 28th of July. So it'll be done and dusted by the time this airs. But if any of our listeners did watch it, please comment under our posts and tell us what you thought about it, what your favourite bits were. But from what I do hear, spoiler alert, is we'll see Toadie get married for a 4th time after losing his first 3 wives.
They're all died.
They're all died. I think I'm going to record, because I haven't watched it in years, decades. I think I'm going to record the last week of it and just watch it just for old time's sake. I think seeing Charlene come back into it and all of that is just going to be great.
How haggard did she look back?
Well, she is 50 odd, isn't she? She's lived a life on the run.
She has lived a life. In Queensland.
In Queensland.
Living a life in Queensland.
There's harsh climates. And you have another one on, what was it?
Oh, my last one was the mum with 34 kids.
Oh, yeah. Jesus
which
Christ.
is another video that popped up. They're not all her kids, okay? So she lives in Malawi. And what happened was she started out when she was 19. So she's 23 and she has 34 kids.
Holy fuck. So she's, okay, right. I'm glad they're not all 19, hers.
They're not, no. I think she only has 1 or 2 that are hers, or a couple that are hers. So she started out as so she was a homeless single woman at 18 actually, and then she was like, after that experience she started taking people in because she obviously,
that's what it was like.
And then she must get some sort of support from the government to some degree for her to take on that many children financially to be able to look after them. But her morning starts at 4 a.m. So not all of them are children that are abandoned. Sometimes they're children that the parents can't look after them for certain reasons, but a lot of them are street kids or foster children or orphans or children of teen mothers. So she takes them all in. But at the time of the video, she had 34. And her day begins at 4 a.m. and she shows how she prepares all the food for the kids, including sandwiches, hot dinners, and juice boxes. She said she's the only one who cooks for the children under 5, and every child has his or her own morning chores. The kids go to bed at 7 p.m, but her night shift really starts then, as lots of the babies wake up to feed. So if you watch the video, you'd have to be so
regimented and so disciplined.
So she's this skinny little girl and she's got this baby on her hip and she's like, I've got, so it's a TikTok video or whatever. And she's like, I've got 34 kids, watch them. And she walks off and then they all start following her and then there's these 34 kids that come after her. And then she sits down and starts making their lunch at 4 a.m. She's making 34 children's lunches.
And they'd all have particular fucking tastes as well.
Well, they all get the same thing. No, they all get the same thing. It's all like all those little boxes, you know, when you see those videos of parents preparing those little boxes with all the bits and pieces in them, and they do the same thing. So it's like she's got all these boxes in front of her and she puts bits of the same thing.
Do you know what ages they range from?
From babies until 16.
Until 16, Jesus Christ.
She's got like 5 babies, including her own baby.
God almighty, what a lovely woman.
Yeah, it's amazing. But you have to see the video. If you search like mum has 34 children, it comes up and you'll see the video straight away. And it's insane to watch like what she does. Like it's like, and then they're all just following her everywhere. Like she walks somewhere and they're all walking.
Like a mother duck.
Yeah, like totally like a mother duck. And she's like walking to school and she's dropping them all off and they're all following her.
God, go girl, well done. But yeah, that is just a job.
Yeah, well, I think that is her job, but still, she's providing a massive service
totally
to these children who don't have homes,
and they'll probably grow up to be decent kids too, because they'll all be disciplined and respectful, hopefully,
and they'll know their chores and know that what goes
they've all got a
into
part to
bringing
play.
up all those. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's quite important.
All right. Well, my final story is on R. Kelly. So, did you follow any of that stuff?
Bits and pieces. Again, this is another one that Tyler followed a bit, and he used to yell things out to me about what was happening. But I know he's in prison. He's got 50 years. Did he get?
No, so he got sentenced for 30 years for racketeering, which is dishonest and fraudulent business dealings and sex trafficking. Have you seen the documentary Surviving R. Kelly? There's two. I watched the first one. They're like mini-series. I watched the first one and it was fucking insane. The shit that he was doing, and all with like a lot of them with underage girls. He used to have scouts going to shopping malls and finding girls and then bringing them back to him, and then he'd treat them like actual animals. Like they'd have videos where he pissed on them and stuff. That's where, that Macklemore song where it goes, R. Kelly sheets, piss. It was 99 cents. That's about that video. And some of the girls in this documentary, it's like following the story. Think about 3 of them that escaped, or the parents got them out and they'll tell them their stories. And some of the girls were that much under Stockholm syndrome, whatever it is, where they were trying to get back to him. Like he'd had them that conditioned, where he'd make them stand in a corner of one part of the house. They would never see each other. They're all in different parts of the house, stand in the corner for 3 hours. They weren't allowed to move or anything. They'd piss and shit themselves where they were stood because they couldn't move and they were feared. There was abuse and yeah, it's terrible. So I'm like, fuck you, R. Kelly. I believe I can fly.
30 years for that?
Because a lot of the women wanted to stay and stuff. Do you remember there was that interview that Gail, Oprah's friend, did with him? And he came in and she did an interview with him recently after it all. And they had 2 of the girls there saying how, no, that everything was fine, nothing happened, blah, 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 all the allegations are false. And he goes off it, goes like, I'm innocent, all these people doing this. He stood up and towering over and she just sat there not flinching, just staring at him. Yeah, I'll have to show you the video of it. I'll tag you in it. So yeah, fuck you, R. Kelly, and sucked in. I believe you cannot fly anymore. All right. Well, thanks for listening to this week's episode of Stupid Bitches Say What. We hope you enjoyed our views on the current affairs that we covered this episode.
And believe it or not, that's a wrap for season 3 of Stupid Bitches Say What.
Oh my God.
I can't believe we are already down 3 seasons already. Thank you all for all your support. We love what we do with our podcast and are thrilled you keep coming back for more. Super excited about season 4 and what we have in store for you. Keep on telling your mates and let's get those listens up to 3,000. Share, like, and subscribe to your heart's content. Bye stupid bitches.
See you for season 4 in September. And thank you. Woo! Bye. Awesome. All right. Well done, stupid bitch. I'll see you tomorrow. And sorry again about that fucking Watergate scandal. What a scandal.
We still managed to get it in under 10.
We did.
10 o'clock with 2 episodes and a
repeat.
A re-record.
I just had to look up then and make sure I was recording this. I am. All right. Love you, stupid bitch. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Yeah, that stupid bitch. He's a stupid bitch. What a stupid bitch. That stupid bitch.